Picture resting beside a campfire. It's 50,000 BCE. The daylight has faded away. There's no streaming. There's zero smartphones. There's zero modern anxiety regarding your emails. There's solely yourself, the flames, plus that dense, suffocating smog drifting straight toward your visage. Yet somewhere at some juncture, one of early humanity gazed upon that vapor and pondered, "Hold, what if I tried this by design?" This remains the tale of why mankind uncovered smoking. Not vapes, not pipes, nor that dude near the building whom you forever wind up chatting with for too long. We're speaking regarding the very initial moment a living person deliberately breathed anything smoldering, plus why this could represent one among the earliest practices our lineage has ever known. Since here's the fact nobody explains clearly. Inhaling doesn't begin alongside tobacco. It doesn't commence through colonial commerce paths, nor indigenous American rituals, nor even farming. This impulse to breathe vapor could be programmed inside us at a depth so profound it precedes societies completely. Furthermore, the proof backing this proves truly mind-blowing. Let's begin with flames. Since until you can burn something, you require fire. Plus, fire has remained part of our hominid narrative for a very, very long while. The earliest verified proof regarding managed flames utilized by early hominids traces back nearly 1 million years inside a location named Wonderwork Cave within South Africa. Researchers uncovered scorched vegetation residue plus blackened bones. Not the outcome from a brush fire, rather from a maintained enclosed hearth utilized intentionally within a cavern. Still, 1 million years passed. We weren't even Homo sapiens then. This was Homo erectus, our ancient relative possessing a tinier mind, a thicker ridge, plus completely zero desire regarding being instructed how to operate with it. They rested beside flames exactly as we might. They roasted, they remained heated, they clustered closely amid the blackness while they inhaled fumes. Each passing day throughout hundreds of thousands of years, each person, plus pre-human forebear that rested near a blaze, breathed smog. This was inescapable. This remained perpetual. This was essentially the primary air pollution scenario, plus nobody possessed an application to monitor things. Yet here's exactly where things fascinate. Portions of this vapor weren't merely timber fumes. Whenever someone ignites natural material, they don't only produce carbon dioxide alongside water mist. We receive a mixture of chemicals reliant upon whatever we're igniting. Certain flora, once ignited, emit mind-altering substances, alkaloids, terpenes, molecules which engage alongside the human neural network through methods that remain, we'll state, observable. Put differently, certain of early hominids were definitively unintentionally becoming intoxicated beside the fire pit, while they possessed zero clue why they felt incredible. This isn't some marginal hypothesis. Scientists have suggested throughout decades regarding early mankind residing within wooded habitats must have consistently been subjected toward the fumes from mind-altering flora, including marijuana, Nicotiana varieties, plus multiple entheogens, which flourish natively throughout Africa, Europe, plus Asia. The human mind, it appears, possesses receptors which react toward cannabinoids. Those receptors hadn't developed because of marijuana. They're components within the endocannabinoid framework, which manages everything spanning emotion toward recall, toward hunger. Yet the reality that they function indicates that whenever a person initially breathed vapor from a smoldering marijuana shrub, their mind wasn't bewildered. Their mind went like, "Ah, greetings. I've been seeking for you." Plus that instance, that initial unintended drag from mind-altering vapor near a primeval fire pit, could represent the actual genesis behind smoking. Not a choice, not a scheme, simply some highly enjoyable mishap, duplicated sufficient times, until somebody ultimately decided to duplicate it by design. Ponder over this a moment. The entire multi-trillion-dollar worldwide cigarette market, those millennia involving ceremonies, the tribal customs, those healing applications, those communal practices, all thereof could have commenced, since one exhausted gatherer wrested down breeze, from the incorrect shrub, plus experienced one incredibly surprisingly fantastic dusk. Humanity is occasionally gorgeous through the most bizarre fashions. Now, here's where we must remain cautious regarding chronologies, since ancient mankind inhaling items plus ancient mankind deliberately growing items to consume represent vastly separate assertions. Let's discuss regarding what the archaeology genuinely shows us. The earliest confirmed proof regarding deliberate marijuana consumption, meaning scorched marijuana pits uncovered within a setting indicating intentional breathing, originates from one tomb location within the Pamir Ranges spanning Central Asia, tracing toward roughly 500 BCE. Researchers uncovered timber braziers holding rocks which were superheated beside remnants from marijuana vegetation possessing abnormally high THC levels. This wasn't feral marijuana utilized toward twine or seeds. This was the potent stuff, plus it was positioned intentionally inside one ceremonial tomb setting, 500 BCE. That's roughly 2,500 years prior. Yet, here's the query which must remain lingering within the rear of your thoughts. Does this lack regarding older tangible proof indicate it didn't occur beforehand, or does it merely indicate we haven't uncovered it yet? Since organic matter, pits, fronds, vegetation strands, practically never endures millennia of time beneath the dirt. We uncover rock artifacts spanning 3 million years prior since rock remains practically indestructible. Yet, one timber bowl packed using desiccated botanicals, that's vanished within a couple centuries under typical tomb environments. One hide sack holding marijuana decayed away into the dirt, ages before any researcher ever arrived holding a spade. Thus, the lack regarding proof within this instance is definitely not the proof regarding lack. There exists additionally the Herodotus dilemma. Herodotus, the legendary Hellenic scholar chronicling during the 5th century BCE, detailed with incredible precision the Scythians, one roaming tribe originating from the Eurasian steppe, executing what he termed a steam cleanse. They would pitch compact sealed pavilions, warm rocks until they radiated, plus toss cannabis pits upon those rocks, afterwards wait within the pavilion breathing the fumes, plus, as Herodotus noted, screaming with delight. Throughout centuries, scholars believed he was exaggerating or misinterpreting whatever he witnessed. Afterward, researchers began digging Scythian tomb hills, plus discovering, you guessed it, copper braziers, warmed rocks, plus cannabis remnants, precisely whatever Herodotus detailed. The guy was simply documenting whatever he witnessed. He wasn't embellishing. He was, if anything, downplaying it. Let's discuss regarding tobacco, since it's the item most individuals genuinely connect alongside smoking. Tobacco remains a weed within the category Nicotiana, plus it's indigenous toward the Americas. That counts massively, since it indicates tobacco remained entirely foreign toward Old World societies, Europe, Africa, Asia, before encounter alongside the Americas during the late 15th century. Whenever European adventurers docked within the Caribbean during 1492, they instantly observed native populations performing something bizarre. Columbus himself noted inside his diary regarding spotting males plus females strolling around holding compact radiating branches, breathing the fumes off smoldering desiccated foliage, plus blowing it back out via their snouts plus maws. His team felt astounded. His team additionally, within weeks, tested it themselves, since of course they would. Yet, tobacco consumption within the Americas remains far, far earlier than 1492. Historical proof regarding tobacco, specifically chemical traces inside ancient bowls, has been uncovered tracing back toward at least 3,500 years prior within the southeastern United States. Certain scientists suspect it might trace back significantly earlier, perhaps 10,000 years or more, linked toward the advent regarding agriculture throughout the Amazon watershed. Plus, here's the reality regarding tobacco within ancient America. It wasn't recreational, not primarily. It remained holy. Tobacco was utilized inside curing ceremonies, inside dialogue alongside the ethereal plane, inside securing pacts among societies. Exhaling vapor towards somebody represented an action involving sanctification, of intimacy, of honor. One healer whom inhaled wasn't taking a relaxed nicotine pause. He was unlocking a conduit, connecting the mortal plus the divine. The vapor itself remained viewed a conscious vessel, one courier which moved among planes, transporting pleas skyward, plus returning revelations earthward. That perspective counts. It clarifies why tobacco consumption remains so structured, so ceremonial, so regulated across various native societies throughout millennia of time. Whenever anything is holy, you handle it using awe. You don't chain consume it whilst viewing screens. The concept regarding tobacco representing a relaxed daily routine, something you perform during a meal pause or whilst anticipating the transit, remains an almost wholly European creation, plus a relatively modern one at that. Now, let's step back much further, since there's one portion regarding this tale which most individuals have rarely uncovered, plus it could represent the earliest proof regarding deliberate smoking within the entire historical timeline. During 2019, scientists achieved one astounding find inside a location within the Great Salt Lake Desert within Utah. They uncovered a fire pit, one roasting plus warming blaze, roughly 12,000 years ancient, holding the pits regarding Nicotiana attenuata, one feral tobacco variety indigenous toward North America. Those weren't pits which had unintentionally drifted into the blaze. They were clustered, localized within a manner which indicated intentional positioning. The location predates all recognized ceramics or bowl objects within the territory by millennia of time. This shifted backward the conceivable timeframe regarding tobacco consumption inside the Americas by an enormous degree. Plus it birthed one genuinely captivating query. If individuals were tossing tobacco inside flames 12,000 years prior, whether to breathe the fumes or toward ceremonial reasons or both, what were individuals across separate regions regarding the globe performing using their native mind-altering flora at the exact moment? Since 12,000 years prior, mankind was everywhere. They resided in Africa, inside Asia, inside Europe, inside Australia. Plus the hominid urge to shift awareness, to pursue outshifted psychological conditions. That is not an American trait. That is an anthropologic trait. Let me toss something toward you which could appear crazy, yet is held seriously among esteemed scholars: the intoxication theory. The fundamental premise runs like this. Throughout almost every human society ever studied, individuals have pursued out methods to shift their awareness. They've swallowed brewed drinks, consumed hallucinogenic fungi, breathed vapor, masticated vegetation foliage, plus ingested pits. This habit remains so widespread, so relentless, plus so autonomous across societies, that certain scientists suspect it isn't random. Ronald Siegel, one psychopharmacologist at UCLA, suggested during the 1980s that the chase regarding inebriation represents a fourth urge, alongside feeding, hydration, plus mating, which remains genetically hardwired into beast habits, not merely hominid habits. Pachyderms intentionally pursue outbrewed marula produce. Caribou within Siberia have been spotted consuming Amanita muscaria fungi, plus afterward gulping the piss from other caribou, which consumed the fungi since the mind-altering chemicals filter out intact. Caribou performing chemical reuse inside Siberia. Frankly, reverence. The takeaway is, if the urge to shift awareness remains this profound plus this ancient, it's completely logical to suggest that early mankind, long before they cultivated any flora, long before they possessed ceramics or bowls or any regarding the instruments we typically connect alongside smoking, were intentionally subjecting themselves toward fumes off mind-altering flora, since they had discovered via practice that it shifted something inside their awareness. Perhaps they ignited those flora deliberately during ceremonies. Perhaps they chose settlements nearby certain flora toward exactly this purpose. Perhaps they discovered which vapor made you feel fantastic, plus which made you feel like you were perishing, which with certain flora represents a difference which slaughters you once before you realize it out. This remains trial plus error, primeval fashion. Immensely high risks, sometimes genuinely lethal. Yet the individuals who endured, they recalled, they warned others. They handed it down via lineages regarding wisdom which never became inscribed, yet became experienced. That's how most hominid wisdom functioned throughout most regarding hominid existence. Not archives, not academies. Experienced existence, spoken lips to hearing beside a blaze amid the shadows. Let's additionally discuss regarding something which seldom arises within this dialogue. Inhaling as medication. Long before inhaling remained recreational, long before it remained holy, it could have remained therapeutic. The Ebers Papyrus, one among the earliest recognized therapeutic scrolls across the globe, traces toward ancient Egypt, roughly 1550 BCE. It details remedies requiring the breathing regarding fumes off warmed botanicals, specifically toward ailments impacting the windpipe plus chest. This feels incredibly paradoxical from a contemporary viewpoint. You're explaining me the early Egyptians cured chest ailments via breathing vapor? Indeed. Indeed they did. Plus, although that appears crazy, it's important observing that the particular botanicals they utilized, incorporating henbane plus diverse fragrances, genuinely possess real medicinal characteristics whenever breathed. The early Hellenics utilized fumigation, medicinal vapor, constantly. Hippocrates, the dude you swear a pledge titled after whenever you become a physician, detailed regarding the breathing, regarding botanical mists to cure ailments, regarding the chest plus various ailments. The rationale wasn't absurd considering the metrics regarding the era. Vapor hits the chest straight, thus if the flora possesses therapeutic characteristics, transferring it through vapor makes a specific rational point. The chest representing a transfer channel. Breathed medication. We currently perform this nowadays using respiratory pumps plus numbing vapors plus atomizers. The transfer system endured. The igniting portion, fortunately, largely didn't. Early Hindu Ayurvedic curing, tracing backward past 3,000 years, details one routine termed dhumapana, translated vapor gulping, requiring the breathing regarding therapeutic botanicals via pipes. The scrolls detail particular flora, particular ailments, particular formulations. This wasn't random or haphazard. It represented an advanced therapeutic framework, possessing rigorous procedures, plus millennia, regarding improvement driving it. Across early China, early Mesopotamia, early Greece, early India, across almost every ancient society on file, there exists proof regarding individuals breathing vapor intentionally toward healing applications as a respected therapeutic routine, not since they remained hooked, not since they considered it remained trendy, because it functioned, or at least it functioned occasionally, or at least it functioned sufficient instances that they continued performing it, plus within a reality lacking antibiotics, lacking operations, lacking any regarding the instruments contemporary healthcare assumes for granted, functioned occasionally, remained an incredibly significant standard to surpass. There's another aspect toward this tale which doesn't capture sufficient focus. Plus it possesses to do alongside communal tying. People remain profoundly communal creatures. We developed inside packs, plus pack unity. The capacity regarding a pack to remain united, rely upon another, move inside unison, represented genuinely a question involving existence plus demise throughout most regarding our biological past. Solitary members perished, packs endured. Whatever which improved communal tying possessed real endurance merit, plus mutual ceremonies, incorporating mutual usage regarding mind-altering materials, remain incredibly potent instruments toward communal unity. Whenever a pack involving individuals endure a mutual shifted condition collectively, it builds an aura regarding intimacy, of reliance, of shared comprehension which remains incredibly tough to duplicate any alternative fashion. Contemporary brain science has validated this. Mutual ceremonies align brain patterns, boost reliance, plus intensify pack affiliation inside quantifiable recorded fashions. Thus, whenever a pack regarding ancients rested united inside a sealed area, inhaling inside fumes from smoldering marijuana or alternative botanicals, plus mutually accessed a shifted condition, that wasn't merely recreational. That represented communal tech. That represented how you forged the level regarding profound reliance plus pack unity, which enabled you step inside perilous scenarios collectively, plus return back alive. The ceremonial vapor ring wasn't simply a festivity, it represented infrastructure. Here's exactly we reach at the awkward portion regarding the tale. The shift from holy vapor toward random routine remains culturally a total catastrophe. Whenever tobacco reached inside Europe during the 16th century, it expanded alongside a pace which must recall you regarding something. Inside decades, inhaling had shifted from an unusual oddity toward a continental fixation. Around the 1600s, tobacco remained being bartered globally. Around the 1700s, snuff, crushed tobacco breathed via the snout, remained trendy among European nobility. Around the 1800s, stogies remained everywhere. Around the early 1900s, the mechanically produced cigarette had been created, rendering tobacco usage cheaper, more accessible, plus more gripping than whatever which had existed prior. Whatever had required Native Americans millennia of years to integrate into a regulated, ceremonial, profoundly societal routine was, inside the grasp regarding European manufacturers, transformed into a mass-market retail commodity inside 4 centuries. The cigarette sector during the 20th century afterward devoted decades plus billions in capital, hiding the proof that cigarettes triggered tumors. proof their internal researchers had gathered privately. They promoted cigarettes toward kids. They contracted physicians to promote their goods. They mixed synthetic chemicals specifically to force nicotine strike quicker plus stronger, plus exit the anatomy more rapidly, optimizing dependence. They transformed something primeval, plus ceremonial plus shared, into a commodity explicitly designed to act as physically damaging, plus as monetarily exploitative as imaginable. One healer, plus one cigarette boss, both interacted alongside the identical flora. They shared practically nothing otherwise inside common. The divide between one healer during 500 BCE, putting marijuana upon heated rocks inside one ceremonial tomb, plus one cigarette enterprise boss during 1960, approving off upon promoting cigarettes toward adolescence, remains one among the grander ethical voids inside hominid past. Both entail vapor. Practically nothing otherwise remains the identical. Thus, whenever did early mankind commence smoking? The truthful reply is we don't realize entirely. Plus, we likely never shall. The tangible proof pushes us backward 12,000 years, alongside partial certainty, plus perhaps much earlier, alongside logical theorizing. The psychological urge which drives smoking, the impulse to shift awareness, to partake ceremonial moments, to utilize breathed materials, as medication remains practically definitely far older than whatever object we've discovered. It could remain as ancient as fire itself. It could remain as ancient as the mental jump which rendered us human during the initial place. The capacity to link trigger plus outcome, to glance at a smoldering flora plus ponder. Prior instance this occurred, I appeared altered. Allow me repeat this again. That's not dependence, that's intellect. Whatever we genuinely realize is this. The habit remains incredibly ancient. It precedes farming. It precedes ceramics. It precedes every society you've ever studied regarding inside school. Whatever is entirely obvious is that whenever the recorded timeline commences across every sector regarding the globe exactly humans resided, they remained already discovering methods to draw vapor into their anatomies. The particular flora altered. The ceremonies altered. The intentions altered. Yet the habit remained already ancient by the era. Somebody decided to record it down. There's something incredibly lyrical regarding this. Despite all the factors which divide contemporary mankind from our forebears, the machinery, the healthcare, the web, the genuinely bewildering volume regarding media we ingest every day, there exist those slender cords regarding linkage which persist intact throughout 100,000 years regarding hominid existence. Blaze, vapor, breath. The earliest mankind rested beside flames, plus inhaled the identical hazy atmosphere you'd sniff near a campfire tonight. Certain among them, at some point, began paying focus toward whatever that vapor was performing toward them. Plus afterward they began picking it. Plus afterward they began handing this selection down toward their offspring, plus their offspring's offspring, plus eventually toward the Scythians screaming with delight inside their pavilions, plus the Egyptian doctors recommending henbane, plus the Mayan healers deciphering prophecies inside the ascending vapor, plus the Taino natives upon a Caribbean shore observing bewildered Europeans test tobacco toward the initial time, plus hack until their pupils watered. Anyway, future instance you switch a power dial, or rest beside a summer blaze, or sniff a scent regarding timber vapor on a chilly evening. You're engaging inside something vastly older than you perceive. You're performing exactly mankind has forever performed. You're inhaling,